Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, road2road.com with your morning horn as easy your sip of chaga coffee. Checked in with the U.S. Mint, gave old Ventress a call, said, hey, Ventress, did you make any Silver Eagles this week? She says, Bix, I'm really busy with the HR problem at the U.S. Mint, so I was not able to make one Silver Eagle all week, last week, or this week. But don't worry, we'll make 450,000 more before the end of the month to meet customer demand. Are you freaking kidding me? Andy Schectman was correct when he said the U.S. Mint has been curtailing Silver Eagles to 450,000 every 2 weeks, which is not meeting demand. Obviously, the premiums are still off the charts. So she's breaking the law. Is that anything new for our government? Not these days. People always ask me, why don't we get all the silver investors together and start a class action lawsuit? People have tried to do that. When the judges are in the pockets of the politicians and the silver riggers, it's very difficult to win in court at all, at anything. Ask Trump. So yeah, I don't see it changing until something happens in the silver market. And I believe something is about to happen. You should be fully invested in your physical silver in your own possession by now. There are signs everywhere showing that the end of silver manipulation is coming. And you can't see it by the price. You'll never be able to see it by the price. You will see it by the people who are leaving the COMEX. And that's where most of the price setting happens. All of the price setting happens on the COMEX. So when you see people leaving, which I'll show you, they are leaving, and the cover-up for the leaving, that's a good sign that silver manipulation is about to end. Now, what happens during the chaos of silver trying to be freely traded? Will there be no exchanges open? Of course there won't be. You'll go to your local coin shop and they might sell you some silver, but maybe not. Maybe they're going to wait for the price of silver to be able to be determined on a free market exchange. We don't have one. There is no exchange on the planet other than the COMEX. The LBMA is not an exchange. It's an association of criminal banks that just trade receipts back and forth, saying they do, over 100 billion ounces traded every year on the LBMA, which is ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as the COMEX, the futures and options, that does about a similar amount. So yeah, as far as the LBMA, the reason, I think the official numbers are like 30 billion, but those are all netted trades. They're all net trades. And the criminal at JP Morgan a long time ago posted in their the Alchemist magazine that the actual numbers of volume on the LBMA are three times as high at least, and sometimes more. But it's all bullshit. It's just the bankers trading receipts back and forth to make it look like it's freely traded. All right. So yes, we are at some crazy number. Ventress Gibson is on the way to make another 11, 12 million Silver Eagles, 1/3 of potential production, with no excuse at all. The Canadian Mint is kicking ass. Canadian Mint is making more silver maple leaves than the U.S. is making Silver Eagles by far. And I think that flip happened yet last year. I was looking for the site, the bookmark I had for the Canadian maple leaf production is no good anymore. For some reason, they must have changed the website. If any of you Road to Root fans out there can find where they post the annual or monthly production of silver maple leaves, the Royal Canadian Mint's silver maple leaves, please send them to me. Please send me that link so I can track it, because it's important. Now that it is the number one coin sold in the world, behind the U.S. Silver Eagle, which, embarrassingly enough, Ventress Gibson has fallen into the number 2 spot. But hey, it's all part of the plan. Is the Mint stockpiling Silver Eagles? I sure hope so, because there's no other excuse. And from the derivative data from their hedge book, it does look like they at least were doing it. And the change in the Silver Eagle, the back with the new eagle coming in and landing on the nest, as David Ryder said, as if to build upon the nest. Very symbolic of what is actually being done at the U.S. Mint. But I'm going to stay on top of Ventures Gibson. All we need is truth and honesty. You know, you might be thinking, oh, yeah, we're doing this for the good of the American people because we're going to have to go back to gold and silver standard. That's fine. But you better be honest with the people and not lie to them. Ventures Gibson has said at least twice, published at least twice, one letter to all customers of the U.S. Mint, which I am, that she has greatly increased the production of Silver Eagles, and yet she can only do a third or even less than a third of like 2015, 47 million ounces. And last year she did almost none. You know, under 15 million ounces is embarrassing. That's a third of what she can do. And she said she's expanding the program. And then she said it again in the annual report. We've expanded the Silver Eagle program. Well, if you've expanded the program, why aren't you selling them to the public as you're required to by law? You know, the U.S. Mint is the only mint on the planet who is required by law to pay whatever it takes to get silver planchettes, the blank silver little rounds. They are required to outbid every single person, every single entity on the planet to get enough to meet demand. It is a requirement of the law that Janet Yellen advise Ventures Gibson to buy silver blanks at whatever it takes. If it's $1,000 per blank, that's what they are legally required to pay if there's demand. And we all know that the demand for Silver Eagles, actually, I think it's waning because we're tired of the embarrassment of paying 50% premiums. You want to kill demand? Maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cut off demand for Silver Eagles by making them so expensive that it's just ridiculous. But people are still demanding them. So I've argued this. You've all heard me argue it. Don't worry about it. Go to Road to Ruta if you want more info on that. All right, here's what's happening with silver. The silver price we don't really care about, but the bad guys like to use, or at least they used to use, the 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving average. Right now we're sitting just below the 100-day moving average. The 200-day moving average is $21. So I'm sure they'll gun for the $21. The problem is we don't know where the commercials are and where the non-commercials are. So the commercials are the bullion banks, the criminals. The non-commercial, and they're always short. The blue here is the shortness. It is the shortness of the commercial banks. The non-commercials is everybody else. They're always long. Problem is we don't know this. As you can see, there's a little gap here at the end. The COT report has not been released since last month because of a hack. Supposedly they're working on fixing that, but they're starting with the prior months. They're saying that like it'll be mid-March before they get the full numbers. I will guarantee you that this number will look more like this flat area back in June and July of last year because they're doing it on purpose. They don't want you to see the mass panic of the commercials out of this short position right here. So this is going to be way up here. Look at, they were almost totally out of the short position. They got to get this right here, and that's what I think they'll do. By the middle of next month, that'll be the commercials will not have a short position, and they'll start going long. And then the question comes, obviously the real issue is it's going to make the volumes go down to almost zero open interest because it was only the banks that were taking the short side for the most part and real hedging. But look at open interest decline over the last 2 years, 3 years. Just going down. We're almost at nothing. And I think we will be at nothing come the next month or two. We are at total open interest right now is 126,000 contracts. I mean, that's look at way back when. Look up here. This is massive. Look at that. That's 240,000 contracts. So double that. It is disappearing fast. And again, most of these positions are bank trading back and forth with each other. And you can tell by who's doing the deliveries and who's doing the taking. Ted Butler has exposed, and I've exposed that Bank of America added this massive silver short position after Rustin Benham said, we were able to tamp down the market. The market structure was able to tamp down the market in silver a couple years ago. Look at who this month, 100%, almost 100% of the silver that has been given out, the silver on the COMEX, the deliveries, 570 contracts, Bank of America took 500 of them. So that relationship between Bank of America leasing silver from JP Morgan can easily be seen in the deliveries. And that takes up, right now, we're at 852 contracts that have been delivered this month. It's a non-delivery month. Next month will be interesting because it's a delivery month. But clearly, JP Morgan and Bank of America are ending the game or making it bigger. We don't know because they're hiding the data at the OCC as well. So it'll be interesting. It looks like, now when I say JP Morgan, it's JP Morgan customers. So when the DOJ came down on JP Morgan, they had to do something outside of their own control. So it went from JP Morgan house account, taking most of the deliveries of silver for the past 10 years, to JP Morgan customer account. But it's the same thing. They rigged the game the same way. It's just the entity that changes. And that's part of the reason the CFTC says, there's no manipulation. Look, the short entity changes all the time. Yeah, it's the colluding bankers passing it back and forth, passing the silver hot potato. At some point, it stops. Who's got it right now? Probably Bank of America. We will see. But I truthfully think the lease is a fixed back-end lease because JP Morgan booked a $1 billion profit in gold and silver sales the same year they were required to pay $920 million for rigging the gold, silver, and treasury market. So they came out ahead. Who says crime doesn't pay? But that would mean that they didn't lease their silver. If they lease their silver, they can't book the gain. They can only book the gain if there's a fixed back end of that lease, a fixed purchase price, or some kind of arrangement, derivative arrangement. And we can see by the derivative data that JP Morgan and B of A are the only U.S. banks that have gone off the charts as far as silver derivatives. Okay, moving on. Again, looking at the March delivery month, you might say, oh my God, Bix, we're almost at 50,000 contracts, which is, 250 million ounces of silver. No. There's still like 7 days left, and they're going to drop that down to probably one of the lowest delivery months ever. Because like I said, it's right here. Everybody's getting out of the silver short game and silver long game. Something is coming. I can't tell you what it is because I don't know. They know, so they know where to position themselves. And they're positioning themselves on the long side. So I'm going to take a picture of this chart. This is before the new COTs came out. And you're going to see this just rapidly. This is the blue is the silver short. Rapidly go down to zero and probably end up positive. They do it a little backwards here because, red you'd think should be short and blue should be long, but they're doing red, blue is short. Don't worry about it. Just follow the road. I'll keep you in touch with what's going on. So anything can happen to the price of silver. Like I said, they can put the price of silver at minus $40 with a click of a mouse. They did it with oil. They did it with the largest commodity bought and sold. They put it minus $40 for no good reason. Truthfully, no good reason. They can do it with silver. Don't look at the price. Will they do it with silver? I don't think they will. It's a little too obvious, but hey, it's not like they care about getting busted, right? The CFTC covers up for them. The DOJ covers up for them. Yes, the DOJ covered up for JP Morgan colluding with other banks. The RICO charges were just plain in your face. They have emails of traders back and forth, Bank A, Bank B, Bank C, and Bank D. 4 different banks colluding to set the price of silver and gold and treasuries, but mainly silver. That's what Trump locked them down on And they did a plea bargain for spoofing because they figured, okay, no one would have a real strong case against us, like a gigantic, you screwed silver, because we didn't actually finish the trades, which is bullshit. Hey, manipulation is manipulation. That's why spoofing is illegal. So, yeah, interesting times. Speaking of interesting times, I think we're getting near that spot where China's going to take over the bad guy role. First it was Trump, then it was Putin, next it's Xi. Air raid sirens blared for dramatic effect during Biden's visit to Kiev. So there's been just kind of peace and quiet in Kiev for weeks, and all of a sudden Biden shows up. He's walking with Zelensky, and they're like, air raid sirens go off. It's so ridiculous. This show is so ridiculous. It's embarrassing. Biden can barely walk anymore, if that's really him. We're not sure if that's really him. But here's what's really happening. Putin suspends New START nuclear treaty, puts missiles on combat readiness. Yes, it is happening. They're going to go. They've just been playing around with the Ukraine. Watch out for Russia, and then watch out for China. China will be the final. When China shuts the door on the United States, takes over Taiwan, what are we going to do? We can't do anything. We're powerless. China and Russia looking straight at us and say, hey, don't you get involved. None of your business. None ya. And we got people like Biden and the crazy Democrats running the show over there. You should be scared. Yeah, I'm scared. Everybody should be scared. How much of it is a real show and how much is real, I don't know. I do think the good guys are still in charge, and they're trying to show us how stupid we are for allowing this crazy election rigging bullshit. But we'll find out soon enough, right? Get yourself a nice, gas mask or something. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, hey, this is the end of the Veritasium giveaway. As of Thursday night at midnight, we're going to stop giving away the Veri tokens, and we're going to give away the silver Ruta coins. The silver lives Ruta coins with the red heart. We painted a bunch more, so we're going to have those available starting at midnight Thursday night, Pacific time. So if you want your Veri token and you haven't renewed your subscription to Road to Ruta, or you want to join the private Road to Ruta, we'll send you one Veri token, and it's loaded on a paper wallet and mailed right to your front door. So go check it out. But yeah, Thursday night is the end of the Veri giveaway. We will be out by Thursday. So this is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. I'll talk to you later.